Good one. Thank you. Please tell me if I'm wrong. You are here today to learn how to be humorous in your evaluation. Yes or no? 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 Hang on. So tell me if I'm wrong. You are here today to learn how to make people cry when you deliver evaluation. No. No? Wow, that limits things for me, you know. You are here today to look good when you give an evaluation.
No. That's not scary.
Regardless of whether it's valuable or not, you just want to look good. You're here today to learn that, right? No. Then you ask me to come here for what? So what are you here to learn? So, okay, one moment now. What was yours?
To learn how to make people better.
Okay, to help people develop?
Give a constructive feedback.
Okay, so the combination of these two are very nice. Huh? To help people develop, to become better, and the element of constructive feedback. Who's here to learn these two things? Huh? To help and be constructive? Really? Huh? Is that possible, do you think?
No.
It's difficult, right?
No.
He's saying no because what is difficult? Okay, my job then is very simple. I'm going to tell you that it is possible, but wait till it's right. It's not easy. It's not easy to help someone and to be constructive and help someone. I think if you are constructive, you will help someone. But it's not easy to get to that point where you become that person who can deliver constructive criticism. Because that's basically what we're talking about, right? Constructive criticism. Nowadays, why is it that criticism is seen as hate speech, you know? It's seen as hate speech. So they want to ban it. Ban criticism, you know. Which is a step away from banning feedback, you know. It's a step away from banning feedback. It's bizarre. It really is bordering on insane. So as an evaluator, you live in a climate where a criticism is taken really badly. Almost any way you deliver it is taken really badly. Do you follow me? People don't want to be criticized. They don't even want feedback. They like it if you stroke them. Stroking is nice. Stroking feels good. But that's all stroking is, you know. It feels good. It doesn't assist anyone to develop. It is not critical or constructive. But it feels good. How many of you have a favorite food? Everybody, right? When you want to feel good, you eat your favorite food, right? Okay, so go and eat your favorite food. If you want someone to feel good, ask them to go and eat their favorite food in the evaluation. Say, okay, your speech is blah, blah, blah. Go and eat your favorite food so you'll feel good. It's useless, you know, for the evaluation. It's utterly useless. And yet, it is what we hear time and time again, right? Almost every time someone comes up to the front and delivers an evaluation, you hear the feel-good stuff. You hear stuff that it feels so good that you know it cannot be true, you know. That was an awesome speech. It cannot be true. Because even the presidents of countries fail to give awesome speeches, you know. Then your Toastmaster Club member can give an awesome speech. Well, it's awesome if your standards are down here. Okay? If that is your standard of awesome, okay lah. That's technically it's awesome. But by objective standards, by the world standards, by the world outside the Toastmasters room standards, it is very unlikely that it's an awesome speech. And yet, you are told that your speech was awesome. You're told your speech was fantastic. And why? Why are you told this? There's a very simple reason. Why are you told a lie?
To keep motivate that
in the hope, right? In the hope. You all are psychologists, trained in psychology? So you don't actually know how to put words together in order to psychologically do what Chiab is suggesting that we are trying to do. We assume that by being positive, people will be encouraged. I think there is some truth in that, okay? I'm not saying there isn't any. I think there is some truth in that. So hold that idea to be somewhat true. But I think it's true in the sense that, in the same sense that a chef will add salt to flavor the dish, to enhance the flavor of the dish. But just because you add salt to enhance the flavor doesn't mean the dish is going to get 10 times better if you add 10 times more salt. Understand? So if you go to the extreme with your positiveness, it doesn't make it better. In fact, can you eat an over-salted dish? You can't. So the reverse happens. Okay? So let's just establish that. It is perfectly fine to be positive. In fact, that is a huge dimension of being encouraging, being positive. But there are other dimensions. Would you like to learn what those other dimensions are today? Okay, so that's today. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you the dimensions in the simplest possible terms that I know. In other words, the do's and the don'ts. 3 do's and 4 don'ts. To tell the truth and be encouraging at the same time. Are you all in for this or not?
Yep.
Okay, that's what you're here for, is it?
Yep.
Okay. To tell the truth and be encouraging at the same time. So I've got 3 don'ts and 4 do's. Hopefully we'll get through all 7 points. Okay, just to quickly reestablish some of the truth that we learned from part 1. An evaluation is, by definition, well, this is Mervin's definition, the quality of your observation. Have you heard this part before, right? The quality of your observation and, do you remember the second part? Yeah, and your ability to what? Yes. The quality of your observation and your ability to articulate it. Last night, someone gave an evaluation of a speaker. And those in the audience maybe had a sense that the evaluator had all the good intention in the world, But if you listen to the actual words, he was unable to articulate his observations well. Now, do you think the judge will look at your intention or your articulation? How you say what you observe and what you say what you observe. It's not just the judge, your speaker as well. I mean, you can have all the good intention, and you should. You should care enough for the speaker to have all the good intention in the world. But if you are unable to articulate what you observe, it's not that helpful. Okay, so today we're going to look at the language. In other words, the words that we say. In other words, the articulation. And I'm going to tell you now, there's no such thing as magic words. Okay? Anyone come here for magic words and magic phrases? Magic scripts? Hey, you all have come here for that, okay? I know. That's what we want. In fact, marketers will sell you this, You want to market, you sell them magic scripts, magic words, magic phrases, magic results. You look at marketing all over the place. This is what they sell. This is what they sell. The 3 words that will make her attracted to you. Why? Everyone click. Not everyone love. Most people will just click, Why? Because the headline promises, it promises something that if you really think about it, people are so stupid that 3 words already can fall in love with it. You know what I mean? Actually, you get married at 2 words, I do. But you know what I mean? You can control someone's ability to give you love with 3 magic words. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. False promises. Okay. So there's no such thing as magic words. However, we're going to talk about words that can really help, you know, can really help someone, and that are constructive. So in a sense, we're talking about magic words and phrases. But I'm telling you now, there's no such thing. Why? I think because I can say the same words and say it 2 different ways, and the meaning is the complete opposite. You do not have to say I love you to someone to communicate that you love them. You can say I hate you. You can try it. Try sometime. With a person you love, I hate you. You don't know it. I hate you. Wow, you're so good to me. I hate you. you can say these things. You can use words like I hate you and mean I love you. You can. In fact, one of the exercises that we could do, we're not going to, what we could do is to find, 1,000 ways to say I love you without ever saying the 3 horrible words I love you. You have to say horrible, ma. Reverse psychology, ma. And believe me, there are 1,000 different ways you could say that without saying those 3 words. Without you, time would stand still. There you go. That's one. And there's 1,000 different. So, what we have to do is we have to find ways of saying what we observe so that people will feel good about themselves, yes, but more than that, that it will actually communicate accurately the thing that needs to change, as well as, together with that, the emotion that will help them change it, the encouragement. This is what's difficult now, because we all, we established last time on part 1 that the hardest thing for an evaluator to do was to tell the truth. But you know what? There is one thing harder than that now. There's one thing harder than telling the truth. Why? Because you all can tell the truth, huh? You just imagine your mom criticizing you, nagging you. That's the truth, huh? And you do that to someone else. We all do it. We can say, you're so slow, I want you to hurry up. That's the truth, huh? Nagging is usually the truth, huh? But it doesn't help, lah. It doesn't help, right? It's the truth, but it doesn't help. The hardest thing is to say say the truth and encourage. That's the hardest thing, I think. Because if it were easier than telling the truth, then actually we'd all be doing it. But I see almost nobody doing it. I hope that changes a little bit now today. And I hope some of you will be the ones that help bring this message back to your club, back to wherever it is that you're able to apply this law. Okay? Right. So, the hardest thing is how to say it. Well, first of all, let's talk about how not to say it. Actually, no. I'm going to tell you a little story first. The most effective evaluation I have ever heard in my life. Okay? Would you like to know this story?
Yeah.
It's really short. The evaluation itself lasted for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. And it wasn't delivered with malice. It wasn't delivered with any real negativity in terms of emotion. It was delivered with all honesty. I hope not. It was delivered to me in my work by a 12-year-old kid, because I used to teach 12-year-olds. 100 of them at a time. And of course, my program being 3 hours long, had to keep the kids mentally going for 3 hours. So, every word is memorized now. Now, I will tell you, memorizing a speech is the worst thing you can do. But when I taught literature, I memorized every single word. I could time it, I could start, bam, and in 3 hours, bam, it's finished. Follow my script. Now, it's a script I developed myself and developed over years, Over years. Why? Because I test this, I test that. What doesn't work, I throw out, try something else. Even the instruction to go for the break is memorized now. 5-minute break now. You give 12-year-olds a 5-minute break, you think they'll come back in 5 minutes?
No.
No, but I needed 100 kids to come back in 5 minutes. So, shout and scream lah. No. We are the adults in the room, so we use psychology. They're all very stupid one. That's the attitude lah. So I said, 5 minutes. I don't care where you can go to China as long as you come back in 4.5 and be seated here. Okay? I got no problem. You do what you like. 4.5 minutes, you're seated here. Okay? So they all run. 4.5 minutes, they're seated here. People come back on 5 minutes. The ones in the class, oh look at them. As if they're late. Give them the total freedom. Of course, I remind them that the principal will not allow them to leave the school. But I said, as far as I'm concerned, you go to China, as long as you come back in 4.5 minutes, I won't say anything. 100 kids come back. Okay, 2 or 3 come back late. Wow. The one that come back later, they cannot from the class or not from me. So what you say, how you say it, makes all the difference. All the difference. This is the untapped dimension of what we're studying today. It's untapped. I can tell you the words, right? I can tell you the words, but the untapped dimension is your personality, how you say it. You really give them the freedom, no? Really give them the freedom. So 5 minutes, go. I don't care. You go to China as long as you're back 4.5, I'm fine. So you can say all kinds of incredible things to your speaker. And you can either motivate them or, in many cases, demotivate them, depending on how you say it. Okay, so the feedback I got from this kid, most valuable feedback for me ever. It put money in the bank for me. It put money in the bank. Really, it changed my business. My business went up because of what he said. Of course, he didn't know, and no one is going to pay him money to do it. As a consultant, no. But I recognized that it was good. This is what he said after one of the classes, and this happened to be a class that he and his classmates were going through a series of classes with me. So they've seen me before. Most times, they never see me again. But this time, so the student, he comes up to me at the end of the class, and he says, Mr. Mervyn, today you went through the motions. And then he left. Today you went through the motions. You all understand what he was talking about? It's a figure of speech. I told this story to a Chinese educated group of adults in Butterworth once. And then I got the blank looks, when I told them what he said, I got the blank looks. So I stopped the story and I said, you all understand what I'm talking about? And I had to ask it twice. Anyway, one auntie in the front row, she says, yes, you're talking about bowel movement. That's what she thought I was talking about. Going through the motions is not bowel movement lah. Going through the motions means, Mr. Mervyn, today you did only the necessary. You just did it just because it's in the script. That's the feeling he got from me that day. Now, in the 20 minutes it took for me to ride the taxi home, it was the most uncomfortable 20 minutes in my business experience. But by the time I arrived home, I had made up my mind to never, ever let that happen again. Never. And it's not I ban people from saying these words now. I raised my standards so that never, so no one could ever accuse me ever again of going through the motions. You understand? Evaluation, feedback can change people's business now. Money in the pocket now, really. Money in the pocket. Okay? It's very important what you all are about to do. Okay, let's do some do's and don'ts when it comes to the language. Don'ts first. Don't be cruel. Okay? Seems reasonable enough, but be aware that what you say could be cruel. I think we are all somewhat afraid of being cruel, right? A bit of hurting someone. Is anyone afraid of hurting someone when they give feedback? Yeah, afraid that the other person may not be able to take it well, right? Emotionally, quite difficult. You can't control their emotions, you know, and you can't control that, but you can control what and how you say it, how you say it, how you say it, okay? So when I say I hate you, if I say it right, you will know that I love you. So it's how you say it, okay? So don't be cruel. What are examples of being cruel? You just honestly say what the problem was, but you know, kind of like maybe, you know, mother's voice or something. You know, I know moms love their children, right? But there is that voice where that can hurt, right? Hey, why your body language like that one? Or whatever. Right? Okay, we won't say it like that, but we might say, in fact, we might say it in a way which is even more hurtful. And we say, and you will know how to really hurt someone? Not say it casually like how I just demonstrated. No. You say it as if it is serious. That's when you hurt them. You say, you know, it was an amazing speech, but you have to really improve your eye contact. Because eye contact is very important. If your eye contact is not good, your speech, your value will drop like a stone. You know, if we say it as if it's serious, that's when it becomes cruel. Like you deliver criticism in all seriousness, in a serious style. Then it hurts. Another way it hurts, and this is the second don't. So don't be cruel is one. Another way that it hurts is when you give it too much weight. Right? There's a heaviness to your comment, a length to your comment. Weight comes in terms of the words you choose to use, as well as your tone, as well as the length of time you give to the criticism. If you shorten it, it really helps a lot. I'll show you how in a moment. But often when we criticize, we then try to justify or rationalize the criticism by explaining it. Yes? We explain why the eye contact was all. We explain about. Explain takes time enough. Takes time. Take time means it hurts enough. Don't have to explain. Mention the thing that needs fixing. Mention, not make it like the most important thing in the world. No. Frankly, this business of eye contact, gestures, so what? If eye contact is so important, blind people cannot speak, no? Cannot give speech. You know, if gestures are so important, then the quadriplegic person cannot give speech. But you go on YouTube, you look for the blind fellow, you look for the quadriplegic fellow giving a speech, you will cry, you know, because that guy is inspiring. So, we focus on eye contact and gestures for what? That's my take on it. For what? We focus on these things for what? So, explaining things gives it weight. Spending time with a criticism gives it weight. If you give it too much weight, it becomes painful. And no matter what you do to say, what you say after that, it's very difficult to take that weight off of them. They're already burdened down by it. Do you want to burden your people or not? No, you don't, right? You don't. MC, MC. I've been at the front where, you know, essentially MC situations. And then people are unresponsive, you know, and you want to get the energy up in the room, right? That's part of the job. That's, in fact, one of the big dimensions of MC. You want to get the energy up in the room. I've heard MCs scold people, no? Scold people. Because the energy not high enough. Scold them in an attempt to raise the energy. The only energy raised is the steam coming out of the head. So MCs need to learn how to do it a different way. And when you learn how to do it a different way, you are now an MC at a different level altogether. Is that right? Yeah, absolutely. If you can raise the energy in the room and everyone's happy, you are an MC at a different level. Same with evaluators. When your speaker sits down and his emotional level is higher than when he, than when he started, then you are at a different level already. Then it doesn't matter how simple your ability to use language, you are already at a different level. So that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so we got the don't be cruel and don't give it too much weight. And I've got one more thing for the don'ts. Huh? Okay. This is quite a difficult one. And this one is don't give solutions to problems that you know nothing about, really. You're not qualified to do. Now, this is a difficult one. Why? Because we're asked to be evaluators very early in our Toastmasters careers. Very early. Almost too early, if you ask me. Why? Because in order for an evaluator to say something that actually means something, they need to have a resource of experience in order to say that. In fact, in order to observe a problem with a speech, you need to have kind of experienced it yourself, Otherwise, you are cutting and pasting from stuff you've heard from other people say. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. I know. Because I hear the cut and paste all the time. I hear the cut and paste all the time. People saying things that they hear other people say that felt good, maybe. But what it means is, there's a disconnect between the speech and your comment. For your comment to be real, it really should be based on a resource of your own experience. Now, that's where it's difficult. Why? Because stage time. How much stage time do you have as a speaker? You want to improve as an evaluator? The key is stage time as a speaker. Not as an evaluator, no. As a speaker. Then you can observe things. The reason why everyone comments on eye contact and gestures is because they don't observe what really is going on in the speech, because they don't have the eyes for it. They don't have the eyes for it. No experience means no eyes, lah. It's difficult. So I completely understand that. So just be aware of this third don't. This one, I think you can balance it, lah. Okay, you can try. I think you should try things, try new things, try to observe. And say what you want to say, but just be aware that if you really are commenting or giving advice on something you are unqualified to comment on, it could be a problem. You follow me? Could be a problem. Use more drama in your speech. Why? You're a drama teacher, is it? So you understand how to use drama in the speech, so you're telling them how to use. Have you heard people use more drama in the speech? Have you heard people advised to use more drama in the speech? Dramatize. Yes. I tell you what, you go to someone who's not a medical doctor, and they tell you which medicines to use, you will take it. You're stupid to take, right? You want the prescription coming from a doctor. In a similar way, they need a prescription coming from a speaker. Okay? So, stage time is very important. You speaking is very important. Okay? All right. Quickly, let's do the do's. Number one, be enthusiastic. You okay with that one? Yeah. All right, so it's not the easiest thing in the world for some people, but it's the key. If you're enthusiastic when you deliver criticism, guess what? The whole mood of everyone will be close to yours, But if you take it like serious, let me announce the death of this speaker. Die. Hey, let me announce the death of the speaker. He did something wrong. Sure, die on next week. It's different. Please don't use those words. Just an extreme example. But it's different. When you say, your eye contact, how do I say it? Your eye contact. No, I don't want to hurt you when I say this. Say, okay, eye contact, yeah. Look at one or two people a bit more. Okay, done. Okay, done. Enthusiastic. Okay, be enthusiastic, number one. That's very important. It's a huge dimension. Okay, if you can, give, Chi Hap said constructive, right? So constructive means give a clear, right? Clear, that means quite simple and doable solution. A clear and doable solution. So, what do you say to the speaker who does not have a message in his speech? In the opening paragraph, he tells story, no message one. He just tells a story like artificial intelligence. Tell a story about artificial intelligence. How, it's good. You can put your hands under the tap and then the water will come out. Actually, you do that, I'm not sure, is the tap intelligent or you intelligent? But anyway, it's quite good, right? You go to, I think, Changi Airport, like, and it's all automatic. Some other places too, I suppose. So just a story. But there's no message. Later on, we kind of discover what the message could have been, but it was never delivered. What do you tell someone? How do you evaluate a speaker that didn't give a message in the beginning? Your speech is quite good. It's quite good. But what would help it is a message. Quite good, but what would help is a message. You don't have a message, your speech is lousy, okay? Your communication is lousy. You don't have a message, and your communication is lousy. Really? So how do you tell someone this? This is the question, right? How do you tell someone this? Yeah, think about that. Because 90% of the speeches out there got no message.
We don't know because I need it.
Okay. What you have to attempt to do is give a clear and doable message as an example of what could be used, right? So, artificial intelligence. You can quickly think of one. You can say the message could be AI, artificial intelligence, good or bad. That could be the theme of the speech, right? Could be the theme. And once the audience gets the theme, they feel much more settled because they understand what is going to come their way. If not, you're just telling stories about hand washing, this and that. People are piecing together macam it's a puzzle, you know. Okay? So how do you tell this person this? Because frankly, without a messenger, it's really, really difficult to have a good speech. I would suggest you do it very quickly and clear and doable. You can say, okay, one big problem with the speech was that you didn't really have a clear message, a statement where we all could hang on to it. No. You didn't have that. Now, I'm going to suggest one that you could use if you use the speech next time. AI, artificial intelligence, good or bad? Okay, so you just suggest that one. Done. You got that? Okay. You don't have to use it, but it's an example. You just say it like that. Rather than explaining. Okay? Hey, my time is up. There you go. I'll quickly give you one more. Two more. Okay. These last two are the encouraging parts. So this is the part that will make a big difference, okay? Downplay the importance of the mistake. Downplay it. Or put it in proper perspective. Usually if we just say, you walk around like I don't understand why you're walking back and forth. I mean, is it really that big a deal? If it is, downplay it. Downplay it a bit. That helps the egg from smashing when it lands, you know. Okay? Downplay it a bit. Soft, cushion the landing. You might say, hey, okay, just something to consider for your next speech. When you walk back and forth, a bit distracting, okay? You say that. Just say, it's a bit distracting, you're downplaying it. And then, this is the do number 4, you then offer hope. You offer hope, a vision of the future, what it would be like if they're able to correct this mistake. Okay? So, so the walking back and forth, it's just a bit distracting. Right? Then what you say is, it's no big deal. This is downplaying it. It's no big deal. It's not a big deal. So, in fact, find other ways to say it's no big deal. But it's no big deal added to the end of a criticism is really important. Right? It's not that big a deal. It's no big deal. Maybe it's just me, you know, no big deal. But if it's no big deal. In fact, this one, okay, so here's the hope. In fact, this one, you can fix it by the next speech. Okay? That's the hope. That's the vision. The vision that they can be transformed by the next speech. So you find a way to say that. You guys kind of follow what I'm saying? You find a way to include those bits, you know, the downplaying as well as a little bit of hope. So, hey, it's no big deal. This thing that you do up here with the bell, whatever, you're always doing this. Okay, it's a bit distracting, but honestly, it's no big deal. You go and watch the video, you will see what I mean. Okay? And this one, you fix this by the next speech, problem solved. You give them that sense that it's not difficult to fix. Okay, now don't say this about people's grammar. Grammar, go to school 12 years old, the grammar hasn't changed. So your observation is not going to change it, okay? But things that can quickly be changed, say so. Or things that are big but important, you may not want to downplay the message thing. So the message thing is important. You might say, okay, this one actually is very important. You must have a clear message. It's so important that those who can do the clear message, if you can change this for your next speech and have a clear message, your speech will be at levels you just haven't imagined. For us, the audience, the clarity is wonderful. Like I say, you give them a sense of hope. Okay? All right, I'm done. The red light has burned my ear on the side. Any last question before I sit down?
Mine is part 3.
There's no part 3.
I want to practice.
Oh, you want to practice?
Yes.
Okay, I tell you, let's practice this coming Tuesday. What time is the contest?
6.
Okay, 6. You sign up.
The real one.
You sign up and you have your name on the board and consider it practice.
Wait up.
Okay, thank you, Del. You've been wonderful.